I'm going to be talking to the class today about a commonly known drug that is becoming widely used across our society. Some like to call it Mary Jane, dank, weed, bud, but is mostly known as marijuana or cannabis. This drug fits in a weird place in our society. In some areas, it's considered a completely legal drug like tobacco or even alcohol, but in other areas, just carrying a little bit of the substance can get you into big trouble. We're going to take a closer look at what this plant is really all about and what it is doing to your brain. Cannabis or marijuana has been around for a very long time. The plant is made up of hundreds of different chemicals, but the most important one is tetrahydrocannabinol, otherwise known as THC. This substance is also made up of another chemical called cannabidiol, or also known as CBD. This chronically produces little to no effect when the smoke is ingested, unlike the THC. THC is responsible for the high that everyone talks about when smoking weed. Those two chemicals work together as a balance. Besides the dopamine dump THC stimulating dopamine neurons in the brain, what is it really doing to you? Well, it's releasing dopamine to make you feel good, which most or all drugs do. Other effects come from THC as well. The chemicals that are transferred between two neurons right at the ends of their cells are known as neuron transmitters. The two neurons are transferring between go from a presynaptic to a postsynaptic. When these neurons are transferring, they are creating receptors. The receptors then set off a series of events, allowing the messages to go from one cell to the next. When ingesting THC, it affects on how these receptors work. It then attaches to a cannabinoid receptor throughout the body. Since cannabinoids regulate how your receptors communicate, once the THC enters your communication system inside of your brain, it begins to freak out a little bit. In other words, it's interfering with your natural chemicals in your brain to send messages from one cell to the next cell. Several areas of your brain have high density of these receptors, which help explain the different effects that the drug has on your brain. Taking a closer look at the brain, one section called the frontal lobe can be affected by this drug, causing sudden mood swings or a lack of concentration or even hallucinations. The temporal lobe, which contains the hippocampus, is known for impaired memory, which is one of the most long-term effects marijuana can have, and it also can slur your speech when using the drug. Another section called the brainstem can be affected by this drug, causing reduced blood pressure or a rapid heart rate. THC can also affect the area of the brain that controls balance and coordination. When under the influence of the drug, the frontal cortex that controls decision-making becomes impaired. Marijuana affects the frontal cortex involved in decision-making as well. So like I just mentioned, the main effects that happen to your body are paranoia, short-term memory loss, relaxation, heightened sensory perception, laughter, altered perception of time, and increased appetite. Now, let's take a closer look at two of the impairments that marijuana causes, one being memory. Marijuana use impairs a person's ability to form new memories and to shift focus. Also, memory impairments from marijuana use occurs because the chemical THC alters how information is processed. The next impairment is your coordination. THC disrupts coordination and balance by binding to receptors in the part of the brain that regulates balance, posture, coordination, and reaction time. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I hope I helped you learn and understand better how marijuana works on your brain and some of the long-term effects it can cause on you. Thank you. Bye.